been a while since I've done a video in the car, and I wasn't intending on doing it in the car. I was intending on doing it out there, but I was moving things around in my car, and one of those things that I moved inside was the windsock mic that goes with my phone. So it is very windy out there and is loud with the waves as well, so you probably would have heard my voice. So I'll do it from the comfort of the car. Yeah, there was a little metaphor that was going through my mind, and especially with the latest EFT tapping video, like that meaning of self. Last night I was, of course, cleaning up the house and a bit of the car as well. With cleaning of the house, it's one of those things where if I don't clean the house, it doesn't tend to get done by itself. Like, I do keep my place nice and tidy, but I'm not a clean freak or have scheduled cleaning days. There's no cleaning roster in my living schedule. And with the cat, he also likes to add to the mess as well. So it sort of, when it does get messy, it probably builds up over time, but it always just seems like, it does feels like I just clean this and all of a sudden it's just exploded with messiness. But it's interesting that, because like, it is an interesting metaphor because it's a real world metaphor. With mess, for example, it just doesn't get messy overnight. But generally we're cleaning our place because there's a build-up of mess. There's build-up of just things lying around, socks on the ground that you think, it's like, if I don't pick up that sock, it's going to be there tomorrow. And tomorrow comes and there's that sock again. It's still on the ground in the same location. Maybe you've kicked it with your foot to a different location, but it still remains in the ground. Or maybe you've picked up that sock and put it on the chair, and it still remains to either go into the washing basket or into the drawer. With cleaning, like, of course, like, if you don't clean your place, it'll attract a smell, or it may attract even bugs, for example. It could be one of those things of like, yeah, I'm aware there's a smell on the place. Maybe it's the dishes, maybe it's whatever. Maybe it's some clothes that I wore that are smelly and they're in my room. But it's almost like, if I can force that smell out of my mind, then I don't have to deal with that problem. And I still don't have to deal with that sock that's now on the bed. All the other messes that, if I don't look at it, then I don't have to address the problem. And I think you can see where I'm going with this. It's similar with emotional issues. I can have issues that create suffering in my life, that once I start to address that, it will probably create a little bit more suffering, but it does tend to address the issue of not moving around emotions, almost bypassing, in a way, some issues that are in my life, that by doing some emotional housekeeping, emotional tidying up, may make my life feel a little bit more better. It's like, whenever I clean up my place, it's like you do get that little mental boost of like, yeah, everything's ordered now, everything has its place. It feels good, and that it feels good to have a clean home, and it feels good to have good emotions. It feels good to finally put things in an order where they might have had a disorder, where things are in disarray. Now they have their place. I might be able to see things a bit more clearly. I did have like 2 sets of batteries, or that's where that thing was. I've now discovered where that was. And similar with emotions, it's like, I've discovered a little bit more about myself. There are things that now give me a new sense of meaning, a new sense of purpose, because I now want things. I might go, you know what, I've got a lot of emotional clutter in my life, and I want to go a little bit more emotional minimalism on my life. That there are things or people in my life that just seem to create this mess in my life, and I'm participating in that. So there might be things that I want to start doing less of, or start decluttering some of my emotions. Or there might be emotions that I just don't quite know how to navigate, and that's what creates the clutter, because It just seems very complex. I want a little bit more simplicity in my life. The thing with doing that is, it's similar with cleaning your house every week or wherever it is. It creates a learnt skill. It is not something that we enjoy doing. Some people enjoy doing cleaning. It becomes something where we develop the capacity to take care of our own inner environment and our own external environment. And sometimes our internal environment can be a projection of our external environment. We develop skill learning how do I go about cleaning this house with the right products? How do I go about dealing with my emotions that is in a right way for myself? That's rather than sort of like just shoving all the emotions under the carpet sort of thing and having a big bulge of emotional volatility just ready to spill out again. For example, I've helped people with hoarding issues sort of thing. It's more of they just didn't have that skill, and it's developing something that works for them where they know where everything is and working with them to make sure that you're not throwing valuable emotions out that mean something to them. So it's finding what works for oneself to be able to develop something that you can carry on with your life. I mean, a big thing, even with support work, is to develop the capacity where you kind of want to do yourself out of a job where the person no longer needs you anymore because, you know, they have that individual capacity. They now have the skill set to carry them forth in life. I've talked about emotions being like a wave sort of thing, like these things. And similar with this guy over here, I'm pretty sure that he just didn't jump on that board over there and go, yep, no worries, I can do that. I'm sure he fell down many times before he got himself back up. And now he can navigate those waves a little bit more easily. It took skill and time to actually develop that skill. And now he can do it, and now he can go with the flow. It's as simple as that. Just simply developing your own sets of skills, and developing that creates an empowering experience. So you become empowered because you know how to navigate your life, those waves, a little bit more based upon past experiences of, I can do this. And of course, it attracts other people in your life. It's hard to have a partner if you're like, welcome to my mess or my emotional mess, unless you have a partner that's willing to partake in that mess or gets value out of that mess. It's developing that inner empowerment rather than putting it to an external empowerment. Knowing when you've got that internal fire, when you've got that internal peace, when you've got that internal compassion to oneself, you can navigate those waves a little bit more easy. You can direct your life. You can tidy your emotions when they start to get messy. And that's really what it's all about, is you having the power to direct, like same with EFT tapping. Once you know the tapping routine, you can apply this to yourself. Even you don't need a practitioner always there. It's good to work with a practitioner because we can really get to the core of the issues, but you can get relief just by doing this for yourself. So you're developing a skill that you can now down-regulate stress whenever there's a stressful situation. So it's building your capacity, your skill set, your knowledge set, your wisdom set, proof that you've overcome the waves before and you're on to your next wave. Proof to yourself that you can do these things. And I find that's more empowering than putting the power to an external source. That's really just part of yourself anyway. No one else is going to pick up the socks for me. No one else is going to clean my place for me. No one else is going to do all the other things for me. Because if everyone else is doing the things for me, it disempowers me. If I did everything for my support work clients, I'm disempowering my support work clients because they develop no life skills. And life as a continuum, you want these skills to carry you forward. Otherwise, there's no learning process in that. Acknowledging your own self, your own achievements, what you've overcome, the adversity that you've faced, I find is more empowering than just going, it's some external source that I have to wait for. And we all get caught up. We all get caught up in those waves sometimes, those waves of emotion. There's been many a times where I've been frustrated, angry sort of thing, or lost in sorrow or happiness sort of thing, and been caught up in that moment. We're all human at the end of the day, so giving ourselves a bit of a break and giving ourselves a bit of space and giving ourselves a bit of compassion to know that it's a learning experience, this life. That way we can actually go with the flow a little bit more easy. That was well timed. I'll give you your payment soon. Okay, now if you can jump for me, that'll be great. Okay, 3, 2, 1, jump. No, okay, all right.